targeted kids and lured them into the dangerous epidemic.
Bullets go flying into an MTA bus and a school bus with kids on board. What police are saying tonight about the gunman. I'm Stacey Bell.
And I'm David Usry. A man was shot and killed in that gunfire in Brooklyn. It happened in East New York, near Pennsylvania and Dumont Avenues, just before 9 this morning. News 4's Mark Santia is live there now. And Mark, this is really close to 4 school buildings.
Yeah, David, the gunman opened fire near that bodega. Bullets went flying. One bullet hit a man. He was shot and killed. Another bullet hit a school bus across the street, and another bullet hit a city bus. Surveillance video of stunned MTA passengers. The driver told police he thought a tire blew. Dozens of people on board had no idea a bullet tore through their bus door.
I seen him all running, but I was saying something happened because I heard the shot from here. I thought it was firecrackers, but it looks like it wasn't.
Down the block on the corner of Dumont and Pennsylvania Avenues, a yellow school bus with a bullet hole in the door. The driver, matron, and 4-year-old child on board were not hurt. 32-year-old Francisco Bonilla, who was standing across the street, was hit and killed.
Quiet individual, mind his business. You know, I was with the family.
Law enforcement sources tell us words were exchanged between a group of people and Bonilla here on the corner right around 8:45 this morning as students were heading to school. Someone opened fire, hitting Bonilla, killing him. Family and friends devastated.
He had a daughter recently. It's just incredible. The one person that you would least think.
When I came to the door, I saw the guy on the floor over there. That's it. Nobody knows who did it.
Police hunting for a killer tonight. Ramon De Leon is thankful no child was hurt at his school.
I just say it's crazy, you see, because they keep passing around the same time. And one bullet here, one with this charge is getting crazy.
Right now, police are reviewing surveillance video. We have learned at least one camera did capture the gunman. Right now, no word on a possible motive. We're live in East New York. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
All right, Mark, thank you. And in Nassau County, police are trying to figure out what led the driver of this flatbed truck to slam into a pole. It happened around 1 o'clock this afternoon at Peninsula Boulevard and Saddle Ridge Road in Woodmere. 2 people were in the truck at the time of the crash. One of them died at the scene. The other had to be airlifted to the hospital.
The testimony still going on right now in the public hearings for the impeachment inquiry of President Trump as you look at a live picture from Washington, D.C. Already today, we've heard from a decorated Army veteran who reported that July phone call up the chain of command after finding it, quote, unusual. And now foreign policy experts are getting asked about Rudy Giuliani. News 4's Andrew Siff's been following it all day. He's here now. Andrew.
David, the big news at this hour is Kurt Volker, the former special envoy to the Ukraine. He had previously said he saw nothing wrong with President Trump's Ukraine policy. Today, he revised his testimony and said he had misunderstood what may have been happening behind his back.
I will begin by swearing you in.
Former special envoy Kurt Volker and former national security staffer Tim Morrison. In testimony this afternoon, Volker revising his prior statements that he saw nothing wrong with Rudy Giuliani's efforts to convince Ukraine to investigate Joe and Hunter Biden.
In retrospect, I should have seen that connection differently, and had I done so, I would have raised my own objections.
Meanwhile, Morrison said the impeachment inquiry has proven him right when he didn't want details of the July 25th call made public.
I feared at the time of the call on July 25th how its disclosure would play in Washington's political climate. My fears have been realized.
Earlier in the day, testimony from 2 witnesses actually on that July 25th phone call.
And what was your real-time reaction to hearing that call?
I had concerns, and it was my duty to report my concerns to the proper people in the chain of command.
Republicans pushed back, insisting President Trump's request that Zelensky investigate Joe and Hunter Biden wasn't extortion or bribery, but instead an appropriate ask.
My constituents in New York 21 have many concerns about the fact that Hunter Biden, the son of the vice president, sat on the board of a corrupt company like Burisma.
Lawmakers tried to undermine a Purple Heart recipient in uniform, implying he gave information to the media.
Colonel, you never leaked information?
I never did, never would. That is preposterous.
And in an emotional moment, Vindeman said he reassured his family not to worry about his testimony.
Why do you have confidence that you can do that?
Because this is America. This is the country I've served and defended, that all of my brothers have served, and here, right matters.
Thank you, sir. Yield back.
As you could hear, applause in the chamber for Alexander Vindeman today. And now a lot of focus on tomorrow's key witness, Gordon Sondland, the U.S. former ambassador to Europe. You may recall he initially said there was no quid pro quo in that July 25th call, and he revised his statement. Tomorrow he gets asked about that. David, back to you.
Andrew Siff in our newsroom. And President Trump once again blasted the public impeachment inquiry today during a cabinet meeting at the White House.
They're using this impeachment hoax for their own political gain, to try and damage the Republican Party and damage the president.
The president claims he doesn't know any of the witnesses that have testified and said he's pleased with how Republicans are handling the inquiry. President Trump also accused House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of ignoring her congressional duties to focus on the impeachment.
And a New York man pleaded guilty to threatening Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. 55-year-old Patrick Carlineo called Omar's office in March, told a staffer the Congresswoman was a terrorist and threatened to shoot the freshman Democrat. An attorney for Carlineo says his client never intended to harm Omar. In a tweet today, Omar called on the judge to show compassion for the Trump supporter, who now faces 10 years in prison.
This is new at 5. There are new allegations of sexual abuse at a Brooklyn high school. A former student at Poly Prep is suing the school under the New York Child Victims Act. The plaintiff is now in his 60s. He says a longtime Latin and humanities teacher named John Miller preyed upon him when he was a student. He also claims the school was knowingly indifferent to his victimization and suffering. Late today, the current head of Poly Prep told us the school is heartbroken that a student might have been abused. He also said Poly Prep has taken new steps over the past decade to prevent abuse.
Well, New York is going after the country's largest e-cigarette maker in the fight against vaping. The state is filing suit against Juul, accusing that company of using the same tactics as Big Tobacco, targeting teens with deceptive marketing practices. Now, so far, 42 people have died due to vaping-related illnesses nationwide, including a 17-year-old boy from the Bronx. Here's News 4's Erica Byfield.
There is a health crisis in the state of New York, and so this office obviously is in the forefront of that fight.
New York's top prosecutor taking on Juul, accusing the vaping giant of false messaging and deceptive marketing.
Juul basically took a page from Big Tobacco's playbook by marketing its products in a manner that was appealing to underage youth. It misled consumers about the nicotine content of Juul's products.
Attorney General Leticia James says Juul targeted New York minors by throwing splashy launch parties in the city and in the Hamptons, alleging Juul made kids think it wasn't addictive. Jacob Colfer says he found that out firsthand.
I think it's sad, especially because I have a lot of friends who didn't smoke cigarettes and then got hooked on Juul because they were told that it was not addictive.
State leaders estimate 1/3 of all New York high schoolers vape. Numbers East Hampton's high school principal questions.
Over 65% of my 900 students are vaping. That's approximately 650 youngsters between the ages of 14 and 18.
Today, we found Juul products in prominent spots on store shelves. While the lawsuit targets one company, there's a larger debate brewing about what to do about vaping in general. The city and state may act. The feds may not, now that the president shifted his stance.
This crisis didn't just happen, it was caused.
Nationally, 42 people have died from vaping-related illnesses, including a 17-year-old boy from the Bronx.
The death of that 17-year-old young gentleman in the Bronx just made up my mind that we need to move forward, and we need to move forward aggressively.
Juul Rep said that the company never purposely targeted youth. James isn't buying that. Ultimately, it'll be up to the courts to decide. Erica Byfield, News 4, New York.
Police have released surveillance video of a suspect accused of biting a U-Haul employee in an attempted robbery in Brooklyn. Now, police say you can see a man in this video walk into an office and swipe something, and police believe he's the suspect who removed 2 sets of keys from a U-Haul rental facility along Washington Avenue in Prospect Heights. That was last Thursday. Investigators say an employee confronted the man about the keys, a scuffle started, and that's when police say the suspect bit the 51-year-old employee's hand and then took off after that empty-handed. We do have some new information on that steam pipe incident in the theater district. Con Ed says it's turned off steam service again to 3 buildings in the area. The utility company believes there's still standing water around the steam pipes. Con Ed crews working to locate the water so they can pump it away. Yesterday's water main that broke at West 49th Street and 8th Avenue released a massive amount of steam into the streets, but thankfully no one was hurt.
In the Bronx tonight, investigators trying to figure out what started this raging fire. Dozens of people had to run out of their homes to escape those flames, leaving everything behind. News 4's Kat Craig has this story from Longwood.
For the people who lived here, they are in disbelief. You can see what the fire did. It ripped through these 3 buildings. That space you see there, that's where the roof used to be. For the people who lived here, they lost everything.
All I can say is thank God for the police officers and thank God for the fire department.
Wrapped in a Red Cross blanket and wearing sandals on this cold morning, Louise says all she has left is in this suitcase. She ran for her life and grabbed what she could as fire ripped through her apartment building in the Bronx.
I saw smoke coming out the room, so she got up and yelled out everybody to call the fire department.
The Red Cross helped 25 people who lost their homes. When fire broke out last night, you can see in this video from Citizen app, flames shot through the roof. The fire started in one apartment building on Rogers Place near Westchester Avenue, then spread to 2 others. Tim Jones lives next to the buildings. Smoke filled his and other apartments.
The whole street was filled with, I've never seen so many firemen. But they did a good job, though. I mean, I even thanked them afterwards and said, thank you guys for saving our apartment.
The FDNY says fire spread through the attic space of these connected multifamily homes. Dozens of people ran out of the burning buildings.
We didn't have time to do anything. My girl put sneakers on. All I had time was put my slippers. So I'm out here in socks and slippers, hoping we didn't lose everything we own.
For many, that's what they face. A fire destroyed the homes here and turned lives upside down. As the fire department continues its investigation, the Department of Buildings is involved as well, trying to figure out how sound or unsound these buildings are. In the Bronx, Catherine Craig, News 4 New York.
All right. In Southern California, the last teenager hospitalized in the deadly shooting at Saugus High School is now back home. Doctors say the 15-year-old girl is in good spirits as she recovers. She was one of 3 teens who were wounded when another student opened fire on his 16th birthday. He then ultimately took his own life, dying days later. 2 other students were killed, a 15-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. Police still looking for a motive.
Well, the federal government is getting involved in the local efforts to help sea turtles. We showed you these pictures on Friday. More than half a dozen endangered young green sea turtles had to be rescued because of the extreme temperature drop we experienced. Most were found floating in Barnegat Bay, just off the shores of Long Beach Island. Because it was so cold, the turtles couldn't swim and then continue their journey south for the winter. Now, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration asking people to keep pets away from the turtles because they're in a severely distressed state. If you see a sea turtle in distress, call animal authorities.
We did go up and down like a roller coaster with the temperatures, and that was tough on them. Let's turn to Janice now to see what's in store for us. Janice?
Yeah, we had all that Arctic air several times over the last couple of weeks, but now we're getting a bit of a break from the extreme cold. We will get chilly again, but not like that for a while. Right now, we're looking at clouds coming back in over Midtown. Temperatures are in the 40s right now in the city, and that's pretty much where we'll stay for the rest of the night as the clouds sort of blanket the area and prevent it from getting too cold in the area tonight. These clouds will not bring us any precipitation. It should be fairly dry. It will be colder in areas to the north and west tonight, down below freezing in Kingston, Monticello, Newburgh. Had a bit of snow up north of Poughkeepsie today in northern Dutchess County, but that's all going to be melting away. There might be some icy spots, though, freezing over tonight. 39 in the city tonight, 37 in East Hampton, as well as Long Branch. Tomorrow, a brisk breeze, and temperatures warming up a bit in spots. May come close to 50 in Toms River, but otherwise it's a little bit cooler than what we saw today. We should make it into the low, mid to upper 40s around most of the tri-state for tomorrow, with partly cloudy skies and temperatures above freezing, even north and west of the city. Now, what you're looking at here is what we call the water vapor imagery. It shows us where water vapor or moisture is in the upper atmosphere. Now, these are clouds, and so this is where the moisture is over the southwest. This is Phoenix, and these areas of bright pink are the higher cloud tops. The areas of orange are where the dry air is. So there's a lot of dry air over northern California and some dry air over Mexico. Well, this storm system will be developing and headed in our direction for this weekend, but we've got two troublemakers. One will be a cold front coming in on Friday. That will bring us some rain in the tri-state. There will be some snow, but we're looking at that well upstate up near the Canadian border. Then the second wave will come in, another low. That's part of the moisture coming in that will tap into some tropical moisture of this area of low pressure over the Ohio Valley. That will come in for Sunday. And with tropical moisture, we could get some heavy rain, and there could be an area of snow or a wintry mix north of the city on Sunday. What are we expecting? Here's the breakdown now. Chilly rain along the coast, and that includes New York City. Wintry mix of maybe some snow, sleet, rain up towards Hackettstown, through parts of Westchester County and near Bridgeport, and then rain to snow over the higher elevations, northern New Jersey through the Hudson Valley, the Catskills, and Poconos. Right now, we're not talking about amounts just yet, but we'll keep tracking it for you and giving you updates. So Wednesday's weather's fine at 48 degrees, Thursday 54. And we're up near 60 on Friday with a few showers in the afternoon. And Saturday is dry but cloudy. It's Sunday where we may see the problem. And then there's Thanksgiving. We could even look ahead to that. And we can already see a storm developing coming our way for the biggest travel day on next Wednesday, unfortunately, from here to Chicago and up through New England. And some of that may linger into Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, but it should dry out the latter half of the day. This is far ahead, but that's what we're expecting. Look at the high temperature on Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, 58 to near 60 with all that rain and likely lots of delays for everybody trying to get on the road in the air to get where they have to go for the next day. But it should be dry in the afternoon.
Yeah, try to change. Leave Tuesday if you can.
That's probably a good idea.
Okay,
if
all
you
right.
can.
Thanks, Jen.
Look at you with all the extra vacation time. Take off on a Tuesday.
I'll be here Thanksgiving. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
We'll continue monitoring the impeachment hearings throughout the evening. We'll be back with News 4 at 6 at the top of the next hour on NBCNewYork.com and our NBC4 New York app.